Possible severe weather risk for the northern plains, flash flooding for the southeast, a huge fire risk for the Great Basin, and Tropical Storm Erin. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Pew. Today is August 14th, 2025. Starting with severe weather in the northern plains, specifically in the Dakotas and Minnesota, we have a 2% risk to see an isolated tornado, 15% chance to see winds up to 60 miles per hour, and a 15% and hatch risk to see hail, which means hail could be greater than 2 inches in diameter. Though today's a little bit conditional, meaning that there are some things that are capping or inhibiting the thunderstorm development today. But if we do see something, it looks like storms may appear really late, around 11 p.m. Central Time. In terms of flash flooding, the greatest risk today is the southeast, specifically from the Carolina coast to Virginia. But also there is a marginal risk from the mid-Atlantic all the way to the Mississippi Valley. For the southeast, you guys may have already been seeing some showers this morning and afternoon, but things are going to start ramping up around 1 p.m. Eastern Time and also around 3 p.m. Eastern Time along the shore. Everywhere else in the marginal flash flood risk areas, you may see isolated and short-lived storms appearing around 3 to 4 Central Time or 4 to 5 Eastern Time. Rainfall totals, we're looking at isolated places may see upwards of 3 inches or greater. Now for the west, especially in the Great Basin area, we have a couple elevated risk or a 1 out of 3 for fire. But what's also really concerning is we have a large area of isolated to scattered dry thunderstorms. And remember, dry thunderstorms are elevated thunderstorms where if the surface is really dry, precipitation may evaporate before it even reaches the ground. So lightning poses a risk for fire, but also wind gusts. And so throughout the west, we may see relative humidities in the teens to single digits, but also wind speeds around 15 miles per hour and wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour. And of course, we have Tropical Storm Erin, which not really much has changed. She's still a tropical storm and she's still anticipated to be a category 3 by Sunday. The good news is the more we get closer to next week, the more we can project her path. Taking a look at the Euro Ensemble spaghetti models, we can see that her path is leaning more towards the east as it gets closer to the east coast, which is a good sign. We also have a new tropical disturbance off the coast of Mexico in the Gulf that's headed northward into the border of Mexico and Texas. And regardless, it may bring a lot of rain, but we do have a 20% chance of something forming in the next 48 hours. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Okay, now looking at 500 millibars or midway through the troposphere, we have a high pressure in the southwest that's bringing in clockwise flow, and it's bringing in a lot of mid-level moisture, which is going to be one of the main reasons why we have a lot of dry thunderstorms in these areas today. Looking at the northern plains, specifically at the Dakota and Minnesota border, there's really not much going on. There's not really that much shear, but later throughout the day, the shortwave trough that's ahead of this area does get developed a little bit more, which does expand the isobars, which does spread the winds aloft. And we call that difluence, and we also have a little bit of stronger winds headed into that area. So with the winds getting faster and they're spreading out, it's going to cause upper level divergence or essentially cause more upward motion. If we go down a little bit to 850 millibars, we do have a really nice low level jet that's bringing in a lot of moisture from the south. But the other problem with that is it's also bringing in warm air into this area. And so when you have warmer air aloft, it's going to cause the rising air particle to not rise as much or rise at all, which is going to cause that cap. And if we look at the surface, we do have a cold front that's going to come through, and that's going to help with the surface lifts to help with those rising air particles. And that's why we may see a